Okay, here we go. Welcome to another video, you filthy exiles. Alright, I'm just gonna get comfy, and yeah, I haven't put anything up for the last couple weeks, just been pretty busy with work and life and everything else, so yeah. I've made a few changes to my build guide, and we're pretty much just going to cover off on this. I'll put the a link somewhere in this video to the previous build guide for the Baron Zombie Necromancer. I'm also going to put a new PoB up for this, for the changes that I've made, and I'll outline the changes that I have made now. So I guess that will start with leg gear. So, what we can see here is my gearing is relatively consistent with what I had previously, except I have changed my belt to a Stygian vise, and I have beefed up my my life and my cast when my minions cast for my skeletons with a ghastly eye here, which basically means every time I cast my skeletons I get a extra 20% damage dealt by my minions, so that's just going to beef me up a little bit more. I'm just going to go into D&D mode so nobody bothers me. Okay, so that's, I guess, the first change. So now we're not going to be self-casting flasks, so we've just basically reset back to a Quicksilver flask, a Chaos Resist Amethyst flask, and a pretty decent healing flask for instant health recovery, Blood of the Karai as we had before, and a mana flask just so that we've got mana to recast shit with, i.e. zombies. I should add now I'm up to 14 zombies, 12 skeletons. And another couple of changes that I've also made is I've obviously changed my marble amulet to a shaped marble amulet, which is maxing out strength, some resist, which I also still have crafted with golem's blood, so obviously a costly endeavor. My rings are a little bit different, but basically just maxing out on rarity, life, and resistances, and this one has some minion movement speed. I've also put Chilling Towers, deal 25% increased damage for blight, because I like using Chilling Towers, they're efficient. Pretty much the same rolls on my other ring, except I've got about 100 health and over 30 resist for every resistances, less chaos on this ring. That's pretty much, that hasn't changed. The rings haven't changed too much, they're just basically minute maxing. My Astral Plate is my plate that I crafted in my last video. I finally got it to 6 link, so it's giving me a shitload of regen. As you can see right now, my idle regen is almost 2000. With my boot enchant, which is 1% increased life regeneration per second when I'm hit, if I'm hit recently, this actually flogs out to 2000. So basically I'm running a RF level of resistance, oh not resistance, RF level health regeneration on a Necromancer, which is pretty cool. Gloves have changed a little bit. I do have gloves that give me curse enemies with level 10 vulnerability on hit and trigger Edict of Fury on hit. So basically, if you're gonna smack into anything, you're gonna hit proc Edict of Fury. That's gonna put a level 10 vulnerability on your enemies, and then basically your minions are gonna run around and absolutely devastate them. A couple of other changes as well. I've taken the Cyclone cast on channel off and just basically had my zombies, got my zombies running self-sufficiently. Now obviously you've got mana pool problems, so basically I've got blood magic zombies, which when you've got almost 2000 health regeneration is nothing, and I can have 12 of these bastards. And I'm basically, you'll see it in the PO, in the Path of Building, but I'm running an Awakened Brutality on my zombies, and I'm also running some Impale on my zombies too, which is quite good. They do a shitload of damage. I think the POB has them clocking up to about 111,000 damage per skeleton, sorry. And obviously multi-strike and immune damage, which I tried to corrupt and fucked that up yesterday, and that put it down to level 19, so that's why that's that. Another thing I've upgraded is I've got a level 21 Carrion Golem, which actually dropped with 23% quality, which is really cool. So I've upped my ante on that side, and I've also managed to procure a level 21 zombie raised zombie gem as well, which beefs that up a bit. I have also procured an awakened minion damage support gem, which thanks to my staff now gives me an extra 2 levels, so it's level 3 currently and leveling up. That gives me, at 20%, that gives me 20% increased damage and 52% more minion damage. I would say definitely get awakened gems where you can. They're expensive, but they're worth the cashola. Still on my zombies, I just have Fortify, Feeding Frenzy, and melee physical damage. You'll see that in the PoE. So if we go to the tree, not that tree, this tree, there's no significant changes here except for one area. I've taken Might of the Meek out. I have reduced my health, life, and chaos nodes here. I've pushed these back into this pool, which gives me more regeneration again, some more armor, and I've replaced my Might of the Meek with a gem that gives me 10 dex and 10 intelligence, which meets my minimum cap required. The other stats are realistically whatever you need, but the important thing is to have corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you. The reason why you need this is so when you're versing Cyrus, you can basically sit on his corrupted blood patches and they do absolutely nothing to you. Makes the Cyrus fight basically cake. And I should probably add now that, yeah, this can do level 8 level 8 awoken Cyrus quite easily, relatively effortless to do it now with this build. What I should also note is I have a switch out gear option, and you'll see that in the PoE. So obviously there are circumstances where your zombies may die, i.e. when you verse that Ice Crusader bitch Valentia or something like that. Anyway, your zombies run off into the ice when they see the enemy because they got Feeding Frenzy, so they all die. So I had to have a workaround for that, and what you'll see is if I use my switch out gear, all my zombies will die, but I can still cast my skeletons obviously, and what I've basically kitted out here is having a huge ass kick-ass shield, and obviously I've managed to try and get as much health or whatnot that I could, and also have 32% increased global physical damage on that shield, and about 110, 120 HP, which makes it a pretty kick-ass shield. There's nothing really too much else that you need from that. This shield is also, I think, a Baran Crusader shield as well, so I've got things like 40 life gain when you block, and 10% chance to avoid cold damage from hits. Realistically, you can use whatever you want, and that will work as well. Now, for my on-hand weapon, I've changed to a scepter. Now, you could use a wand. There's absolutely no reason why you couldn't use a really good convoking wand too. I just had a scepter because I was running Cyclone at the time, and if I so choose to go back to Cyclone, this will work perfectly too. Essentially, this is going to give me 70% increased minion damage, 5% to deal double damage, and triggers a socketed spell when you use a skill. So there's a chance that a level 20 vulnerability, a level 12 desecrate, and level 22 flesh offering will proc when I cast. And what you'll see when I'm casting there, it's basically auto casting that. So when you're in the middle of a fight, very, very useful. And obviously I've enchanted it with trigger a socketed spell when you use a skill. So when I use my skeletons, it's casting. So I'm basically buffing my minions constantly, and they're running around now. And obviously with the increased health on the shield, that's going to increase my life pool as well. So we're looking at a pretty decent defense increase because the shield gives you another 1100 shield, 1100 armor. Anyway, that's just a bit of an update to the build. I haven't made a huge number of changes to it. I'm still using the Femorous Saint, I'm still using zombies, still doing everything else, just no more Cyclone, and a couple of other changes and tweaks to min-max the build essentially. Anyway, if this video helps you, I'll obviously link the previous video in the video linkage thing, and I'll also put it in the comments, or not the comments, in the description. If this video helps you, if it helps you min-max your build, like and sub. If you want to see different content, things like that, put in the comments what you want to see, and I'm happy to work towards it. I'm also looking at playing some Wolcen when that comes out in February, and I've downloaded Arcade Unchained, and I'm trying to get my head around that in my off time as well. So if you guys want to see some Arcade content, or want me to basically figure out how to play the game so that you guys can figure it out, it looks really cool. It's quite a pretty game, to be honest with you. In the current day and age, MMOs aren't really a huge thing, then I'm keen to get into that as well. Anyway, until the next time, like and sub, and bye.